Coming up on this week's news, Swedish safety chiefs ban 2 Easee EV Chargers and order a recall of 100,000 units. 4 electricians are murdered after being mistaken for cable thieves in South Africa, and van clutter, loose items putting your life at risk. Welcome to Electrical News Weekly in association with Scame. Whether you're listening in the van, on site or down at the wholesale counter, I'm Joe Robinson and I've been through the best of the electrical industry news to save you the trouble. And as always, if you think you've spotted the 2 words I've been challenged to slip into this week's show, comment with them below for the chance to win a prize. Swedish safety chiefs have banned 2 popular Easee electric vehicle chargers and ordered an immediate recall. The Swedes are unhappy with the earth fault and DC protection on the Easee Home and the Easee Charge models and say they don't meet standards. They say that Easee has used an integrated electronic RCD instead of an electromechanical one. This leaves a risk that the breaker won't always trip when it should. Easee must now take back the chargers from the Swedish market and fix the ones that are already installed. Customers with Easee chargers can continue to use them, but should exercise vigilance. The Swedes say that electricians, however, should not install the 2 models, even if a customer has ordered it. Instead, they should send them back to the manufacturer or the retailer. The ban and recall currently only affect Sweden, but it's unlikely that the trouble for Easee will remain there, as the standards which the watchdog says the products fail to meet are European. So the decision could eventually affect 500,000 Easee units that have already been installed across the EU and the UK. Easee has appealed the decision and is taking legal action. The company says there is no technical or legal basis for the prohibition. It argues that its electronic RCD inside the charger achieves the necessary protections and is compliant with the relevant sections of the IEC 62955 standard. Its competitive advantage was that installers didn't have to include a separate DIN-mounted RCD breaker, but the Swedes say you can't comply with one element of a standard. If you put the standard in your declaration of conformity, then it's all or nothing. The bellicose Swedes say that the Easee charger also failed an overvoltage test on the control pin circuit. They described this as a serious defect. But Easee claims that you can't touch the control pin in the socket with a finger, so the test shouldn't apply. Needless to say, we'll keep you posted with updates of this developing story over the coming weeks. In other news, 4 electricians have been killed in South Africa after apparently being mistaken for cable thieves. The team was dealing with reports of a power outage in a suburb of Johannesburg at the weekend when an angry mob confronted them. Despite producing their electricians' permits to work, the 4 men were beaten to death. The contractor's van was thrown over a bridge and set alight. A spokesperson for the city said that what makes the situation worse is that the victims of the brutal murder were attacked by the very community that they were coming to help. Just such an absolutely ghastly event there. Our thoughts are very much with the bereaved. Here in the UK, a local authority has fined a landlord £25,000 after an electrical meter was tampered with at a property in Northampton. West Northamptonshire Council imposed the penalty on Zivil Aksina of J&KO Property Limited after discovering the interference at a shared house in Lutterworth Road in East Northampton. The council instructed an electrician to attend the address to carry out emergency work to make the building safe. Along with the hazardous electrics, a number of fire safety breaches were identified, including poorly maintained fire doors and missing smoke alarms. Councillor Adam Brown said that from some of the photographs he'd seen, it was clear that Aksina had little regard for the safety of her tenants. Meanwhile, in Scotland, a homeowner has received an unexpected electric shock despite turning the power off at the meter. Apparently, the smart meter installed by Scottish Power was a botch job. Not only was it intended for a neighbour's property, but it was left in what's called reverse polarity, or hot neutral reversed. The homeowner, who was trying to change a socket in his flat, says it was a matter of luck that he wasn't killed. Scottish Power initially offered him £75 and an airy-fairy apology. He then complained to the Ombudsman, who suggested that Scottish Power up its offer to £100. But after submitting evidence of his loss of power, loss of 2 workdays and cost in getting his electricity reconnected, the Ombudsman has asked Scottish Power to apologise and this time to stump up £370. Another safety concern hitting the headlines this week is that of van clutter. A survey of 1,000 UK van drivers has revealed that 46% have been involved in at least one accident due to distractions caused by the clutter in their vehicle. We're talking tools, ladders, conduit and reels of cable. And more than a quarter of drivers have admitted that they have had items roll near their brake or accelerator pedals while driving. Experts advise contractors to make sure that tools or equipment are stowed away safely in the back. They say to consider investing in lashing eyes and ratchet straps to tie down your gear and keep it in place. They say drive steady, especially going over bumps or when braking. If you tend to have lots of food or drink packaging or other waste, keep a carrier bag handy for rubbish until you reach your destination. Compare the Market conducted the research. Julie Daniels from the company says that even minor distractions can cause accidents whilst you're on the road, and drivers should make an extra effort to cut back on clutter and reduce avoidable mistakes. The firm has suggested a range of tips, and I've popped a link to those in the show notes. A van you'll definitely want to keep clutter-free is the smart new Townstar from Nissan, the long-awaited follow-up to the ENV200, which accounted for a stonking 6 out of 10 electric van sales in 2020. The Townstar has got a rating of 4.5 stars from Auto Express. It has a 45 kilowatt-hour battery, which develops 121 brake horsepower, and all models have a full-width bulkhead, a 60-40 split in the rear doors, and a near-side loading door to access the load. To buy it outright is going to cost you around £28,000 depending on spec. To charge it up, how about the QBEV Smart from Rolec? Designed to comply with the Part S regulations, the 22 kilowatt charger is at the budget end of the market and aimed at house builders. Even still, it boasts lots of features including dynamic load balancing and security logs and alerts. In other product news, we really love this stubby drill bit from CK Tools. It solves the problem of making holes in tight spaces such as between awkward joists. The Fast 4 access drill bit is just 80mm in length, making it the shortest by far on the market. It boasts a threaded screw tip for faster drilling speed and 4 cutting faces giving clean holes at speed. You can even sharpen the cutting faces yourself. CK has also unveiled a range of cable strippers for low smoke cable. If you've ever tried to remove the tough sheathing from an LS0H cable, you'll know that it isn't easy. But this stripper's titanium nitride coated blade soon put manners on it. And finally, an American company has unveiled a range of the world's smallest lights. Minimis proudly makes the world's most minuscule certified luminaires. They look tiny even next to a Lego minifigure. They may be more microscopic than Gordon's round in the railway in Skipton, but they feature powerful LEDs and IP ratings of up to 67. Now, just before we get to your favourite bit of the show where I reveal last week's challenge words and winners, we want to thank our premium partners. We couldn't make the news without you. First up, for all your circuit protection needs, they're like having an Italian star striker in your Premiership team. It's Ludon Palazzoli. And the best thing to come out of Yorkshire since stainless steel, it's Doncaster Cables, the home of EV Ultra and other groundbreaking and quality cables. And one of the biggest lighting companies in the world, because their capital is always Dublin. It's Irish lighting manufacturer Robus, home of great quality and innovative lighting products. Big thanks to you all. We really do appreciate your ongoing support for the news. If you think you know the words I've smuggled into this week's show, pop your guess into the comments and we'll dig out a goodie bag prize to the first to get the right answers. Last week's words were wonky and cockaliki, and in an ENW world first, we've got our first winner from LinkedIn as opposed to YouTube. The answer came in from someone who's had a couple of cracks at the competition, and last week he beat everyone to the punch. It's ECA's very own Darren Cranis. Top work, Darren. A very worthy winner. Please click the link in the description below to claim your prize. Stay absolutely glued to our socials this week as we've got some really exciting stuff coming up. Gary's on the road again as part of our College Connections initiative. This time he's visiting Sheffield College, and it's a live stream week. I'm Oop North, so I'll be joining in the mayhem. But more importantly, if you're into solar PV and battery storage, we've got a really special guest in the form of Griff Thomas from G-Tech, who knows this industry inside out, mainly because he's created guidance on vast amounts of it, including MCS guidance notes, and he even developed the AM2 test rig. That's just scraping the surface of his CV, so don't miss out on that. Thanks for listening to this episode of Electrical News Weekly in association with Scame. Make sure you subscribe to receive the next update. Thanks for listening, and until next time, have a great week. Stay safe out there, and remember, there's no such thing as a torque calibrated arm.